Good afternoon. Myself Ankit Acharya, working as an assistant professor in Asmukh Goswami College of Engineering, and today I want to explain to you that GTU question paper June-July 2011, and the subject is vector calculus and linear algebra. And last time we seen this paper with this GTU question paper up to question number 2B. So we are starting from this question paper June-July 2011 from question number 2B. Okay, so let's see. Here is a content is vector calculus and linear algebra, and my content is GTU question paper. So we are starting from question number 2B, second part. Right, up to this part we already seen in the last time, so we are starting from this topic, this question number 2B. Define subspace of a vector space. Check whether the given subspace, check whether the given set are subspace or not. Let W is equal to xy, where x greater or equal to xy belongs to R2, where x greater or equal to 0, y greater or equal to 0 is a subspace of R2. Second is W is equal to xyz belongs to R3, where ax plus by plus cz is equal to 0, where abc belongs to R. Okay, so we want to check that the given two sets are subspace or not, and first we have to define the definition of subspace. So let's first solution, definition of subspace. A non-empty subset W of a vector space V, right? A non-empty subset W of a vector space V is called subspace of V if W is itself a vector space under the operation defined on V, under the same addition and scalar multiplication defined on V. So if this property is satisfied, then we can say that the given set is a vector, the given set is a subspace of a vector space V, otherwise not. Okay, so and next we want to check that the given two sets are subspace or not. First one is a subspace of subset of R2, where both the coordinates greater or equal to 0. So only those type of elements from R2 we can take in the W such that both the coordinates greater or equal to 0. Right, only those type of coordinates. And we know that the definition of subspace, that we want to check this two condition, addition and scalar multiplication. That means if u plus v, if uv belongs to W, for any uv belongs to W, u plus v definitely belongs to W, right? If uv belongs to W, I repeat that if uv belongs to W, then u plus v should be in W, right? And for scalar multiplication, if for any u belongs to W, k into u belongs to W. But in the first case, we know that u is equal to 1 1 belongs to W, because both the coordinates are greater or equal to 0, one is greater or equal to 0, another one is also greater or equal to 0. Let's try to prove the second condition for the subspace. Let k is equal to -1, scalar multiplication. K is equal to -1 and u is 1 1. So -1 into 1 1, that is equal to -1 -1. That is not belongs to W. That is not belongs to W, because W contains those elements from R2 such that both the coordinates greater or equal to 0. Here you can say that k into u, that is equal to -1 -1. Definitely that is not belongs to W. So second condition is dropped here for the subspace. So W is not a subspace of R2, clearly. Now next set is this one, W is equal to xyz belongs to R3 such that ax plus by plus cz is equal to 0, where abc belongs to R, right? We want to check that this set of R3, this set subset of R3 is a subspace or not, that we want to check. So let's take this 2 vector u is equal to x1 y1 z1 and v is equal to x2 y2 z2 belongs to W. So ax1 plus by1 plus cz1 is equal to 0 and ax2 plus by2 plus cz2 is equal to 0. U plus v is equal to x1 y1 z1 plus x2 y2 z2, that is equal to x1 plus y1, x1 plus x2, first coordinate is x1 plus x2, second coordinate is y1 plus y2 and the third coordinate is z1 plus z2. Now that coordinate we want to prove that is belongs to W or not. Okay, so for that is belongs to W, since A into, if you want to prove that this set W, this set u plus v, this vector u plus v belongs to W or not, that if you want to check, that we have to prove that A into first coordinate plus B into second coordinate plus C into third coordinate is equal to 0. Okay, so this belongs to W because of A into first coordinate, that is A into x1 plus x2 plus B into second coordinate, that is y1 plus y2 plus C into third coordinate, that is z1 plus z2. So A into x1 plus x2 plus B into y1 plus y2 plus C into z1 plus z2, definitely that is equal to 0 because we have ax1 plus by1 plus cz1 is equal to 0 and ax2 plus by2 plus cz2 is equal to 0. So that's why this condition is clearly satisfied. And the second condition, k into u, that is equal to k into x1 y1 z1, that is also belongs to W. Why? Because k into u is k into x1 y1 z1, that is kx1 ky1 kz1. If you want to prove that vector is in W, we have to check that A into kx1 plus B into ky1 plus C into kz1, that is equal to k into ax1 plus by1 plus cz1, that is equal to 0, that is W is a subspace of R3. Okay, so first set, we see that first set is not a subspace of R2, but the second set, second W, is a subspace of R3. Okay, so this question is complete now, and this question asked in 4 marks in the GTU question paper. Okay, so let's next, this is the OR question. We already see the question number 2a part last time, and today we question number 2b second part. Okay, and here is a question number 2a. Or question number 3a. Define basis of a vector space if v1 is equal to 1 to 1, v2 is equal to 2 9 0 and v3 is equal to 3 3 4. Show that S is equal to v1 v2 v3 is a basis for R3, and then find the coordinates of v, that is equal to 5 minus 1 9 with respect to S. So first we want to define a basis. First you have to write down the definition of basis for a vector space V. Okay, and then you have to check that these 3 vectors v1 v2 v3 which is of R3 is a basis or not. Okay, and then we want to find the coordinates of V, this particular vector 5 minus 1 9 with respect to S. S means this basis vectors v1 v2 v3. And this question asked in 7 marks in the GTU question paper. So let's take solution. First we want to define the definition of basis. Here is the definition. The set of vectors S in a vector space V is called a basis for V if, first condition, S is linearly independent, that is the first condition, and second condition is S spans V. Okay, S is linearly independent, that is the first condition, and second condition is S spans V. If these two conditions are satisfied, then we can say that a given set is a basis for a vector space V. But here, to prove that the set of vectors, this set of 3 vectors are basis for R3, here we use one theorem, and using that theorem it's quite easy to solve this example, because what is this theorem says? The theorem says that if dimension of V is equal to n, if again repeat, if dimension of V is equal to n and S is a set which contains all the vectors of V, and if S contains exactly n vectors, then if you want to prove that S is a basis for vector space V, you need to prove only one condition. Either you prove S is linearly independent or S spans V. I again repeat, if dimension of V is equal to n, okay, if dimension of V is equal to n and S contains exactly n vectors, the set S contains exactly n vectors of vector space V, then if you want to prove that S is a basis for vector space V, you only need to prove one condition. Either you prove S is linearly independent or you have to prove S spans V. Automatically another condition is automatically satisfied, and that's why we can prove that the given set is a basis for a vector space V. That theorem, that important theorem, we will use here. You can see in this example exactly the same situation happen here. What is dimension of R3? That we know dimension of R3 is equal to 3, right? In general, dimension of Rn is equal to n, so we know that dimension of R3 is equal to 3, and this S contains exactly 3 vectors of R3, V1, V2, V3. Each of R, all the vectors are from R3, and S contains exactly 3 vectors. Now if you want to prove that S is a basis for R3, you only need to prove either S is linearly independent or S spans V. So here we only prove one condition, and the second condition is automatically proved using this theorem, and that's why the given set is a basis for R3. That we are trying to do here. Okay, so let's check. To prove linearly independent or dependent, we check determinant. We know that if determinant is equal to 0, the given set of vectors are linearly dependent. If the determinant is non-zero, the given set of vectors are linearly independent. So we know that 3 vectors 1 2 1 2 9 0 3 3 4 1 2 1 2 9 0 3 3 4, that is equal to 1 into 9 into 4, that is 36 minus 0. So 36 minus 2 into 4 into 2 8 plus 1 into 3 into 2 6 minus 27, right? I hope you all know that how to find the determinant, and that is equal to 36 minus 16 minus 21. 36 minus 16 minus 21, that is equal to minus 1. Okay, so non-zero element, non-zero number, so S is linearly independent. And now we use this theorem which I told you, that here dimension of R3 is equal to 3 and S contains exactly 3 vectors, so automatically S spans the R3, and that's why S is a basis of R3. The second condition is automatically proved. Okay, so you don't need to prove the another condition using this theorem. So you have to just write down the statement of theorem, this theorem particular for this example, that here I written that we know that dimension of R3 is equal to 3 and S contains exactly 3 vectors. So using this theorem, this set S is a basis for R3 if S is linearly independent or S spans R3. Okay, if S is linearly independent or S spans R3. So that's why we use this theorem, and it's quite easy to solve this example. Okay, S is a basis of R3. Now next we want to check that this vector 5 minus 1 9, 5 minus 1 9, find the coordinate of this vector with respect to this basis S. Okay, now what is the coordinates? Find the coordinates of V. The coordinates of V is nothing but the scalars k1 k2 k3 such that k1 v1 plus k2 v2 plus k3 v3 is equal to V. K1 v1 plus k2 v2 plus k3 v3 is equal to V. Okay, so now V is equal to k1 v1 plus k2 v2 plus k3 v3. So 5 minus 1 9 is equal to k1 into v1, that is 121, plus k2 into v2, that is 290, plus k3 into v3, that is 3 3 4. Equating the corresponding the coefficient gives k1 plus 2k2 plus 3k3 is equal to 5, 2k1 plus 9k2 plus 3k3 is equal to minus 1, and k1 plus 0 into k2 plus 4k3, that is equal to 9. So solving these three equations, we use matrix, augmented matrix. So the augmented matrix is 1 2 3 5, 2 9 3 minus 1, and 1 0 4 9. Okay. Now to solve these three equations, we have to convert this augmented matrix into row echelon form, and we know that what is the row echelon form. The first non-zero element in the first row, that is our leading entry. Below that leading entry, all the elements should be 0. Same condition for second row, right? What first non-zero element is our leading entry, and below that leading entry should be 0. And if there are any rows contains all the 0, that should be the bottom of the matrix. And definitely the leading entry, whenever we are going from above to below, our leading entry from going from left to right. Okay, so these three conditions for row echelon form, and we convert this augmented matrix into row echelon form. So what is our first process? See, the first leading entry is already 1, so we multiply first row with minus 2 and add into the second row, and we multiply first row with minus 1 and add into the third row. So the first element of second row and the first element of third row become 0. So that means below that first leading entry are 0. Okay, so that is our first process. We multiply first row with minus 2 and add into the second row, and multiply first row with minus 1 and add into the third row. So the first row is as it is, 1 2 3 5. Second row becomes 0 5 minus 3 minus 11, and the third row becomes 0 minus 2